What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Variant Live. Today, we're going to jump right into it because some pretty big news broke earlier today, about like 3 hours ago, I believe. And that is the title of this episode. That is Geoff Johns stepping down from his head position of DC Comics. He was the chief creative officer, and he has stepped down. And Jim Lee, one of everyone's favorite artists, definitely one of my favorite artists, is taking over his position. He will now be the new CCO, Chief Creative Officer, as well as still co-publisher with Dan DiDio. So that is some huge, that's some really, really big news as far as the comic industry goes, because you're talking about a whole, like like the heads, like the whole leadership being changed for all of DC Comics. Geoff Johns, in that position, Chief Creative Officer, he was not only in charge of the comic books, he was in charge of the video games. He oversaw the cartoons, the movies, all that stuff. Just anything creative associated with DC Comics, he oversaw, and now that new position is going to Jim Lee, which I think is a great, he's a great not substitute, but a great person to take over the mantle of a chief creative officer. But I'm very sad at the same time to see Geoff Johns go. I mean, he's done some amazing stuff over the last, just his whole time at DC Comics. I mean, he did Green Lantern Rebirth, Flash Rebirth, which years later led into the DC Rebirth Initiative over these past few years that has been amazing, and it rejuvenated DC Comics in a massive way. I mean, because of this whole new Rebirth Initiative over the last 2.5 years, I mean, whether you're DC or Marvel fan or whatever, I think everyone could agree that DC is pretty much, the comic book publisher right now as far as superhero comics go. Like, their comics just overall are doing way better than Marvel's comics, and that's even, you even see that in the sales, as like, I'm not sure of the last few months, but towards the beginning of the year and mostly all of last year, only one Marvel book was in the top 10 best-selling comics for the month, and then there was one Image book, and the other 8 were all DC books. So DC has been killing it the last few years. Big part of that is because of Geoff Johns, creative lead over the whole thing, his leadership, saying this is what we got to do. Again, with this whole Rebirth Initiative, he saw that the New 52, given he was the head, he was, at the New 52, he saw that didn't work out. Us fans weren't receiving it properly. So he's like, okay, what can we do? And, he did Green Lantern Rebirth, he did Flash Rebirth, which are two of the best Green Lantern and Flash stories out there. As you guys know, Flash Rebirth is my favorite Flash story, like, ever. I love that story. If you haven't read it and you're a Flash fan or just a comic fan, read Flash Rebirth. Can't recommend it enough. But anyway, he saw that we weren't liking the New 52. He's like, okay, what do we got to do? What is DC all about? Why do I love DC? Why did I love these characters growing up? And he went back and he saw that, these characters are about hope. They're about, change, love, compassion, heroism. So he basically wrote a love letter in that huge one shot of DC Rebirth, gave us everything we were missing. Black Canary's back with Green Arrow, Wally West Flash is back. They had that awesome, full page spread of them hugging each other, and Barry remembering who Flash is. Just so many little things like that he gave us, all those legacy things and characters that we've wanted back. And I have had no complaints with Geoff Johns, given he's not perfect, but I think he's done some of the best stuff. He's basically responsible for, like, DC's modern age of awesomeness in a nutshell. So to see him step down from this position is very sad. But at the same time, it's not like he's not working for DC anymore. I should mention that it's not like he's not working for Warner Brothers. He's not working for DC anymore. He's actually kind of shifting over more to the movie side. Now, at this point in time, again, this was stated a little earlier. This news just broke a few hours ago. At this point in time, it's not really confirmed, like, necessarily, like, his position is he's the new CEO or CCO of blah, blah, blah. But what we do know is he will be now kind of working more with the movies. Like, he's going to kind of do that full time-ish, per se. He was already working with the DCEU. He co-wrote the Wonder Woman movie. He's helped with a lot of, like, he wrote a lot of episodes for Smallville, and I believe some of the CW shows like Arrow and Flash. He's wrote a lot of stuff for that. So he's worked in the DCU a lot. I know he also kind of helped a little bit with Zack Snyder for Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. Like, so he's been working with all that, but now it seems like he's going full time. He's apparently writing the screenplay for the Green Lantern Corps movie that's going to be coming out very soon. I cannot wait for that. So my boy Geoff Johns will be writing that apparently. So yeah, he's also going to be writing a Shazam series. You guys know, I know you guys have been loud about it. I've been very vocal about it on the show. That I've been like, we need a Shazam comic. We need a Shazam comic book, and he's going to be writing. Who better to write a Shazam comic than Geoff Johns? Again, he's definitely, love him or hate him, you got to give the man props. He is one of the best writers of the modern era of comic books. So I'm very happy to see him doing a Shazam book. Not only am I happy to getting a Shazam book, it's just insane that he's going to be doing the Shazam book. So that's like a twofer, and I'm very excited for that. Um, yeah, I believe he will also be doing. So he's still going to be writing for DC too. So even though he's not like the head, the chief creative officer, this is actually probably going to give him more time because being like that high up, being basically like the head of DC, you're dealing with all the business stuff and you're all that corporate meetings and all that stuff. Doesn't So it's very hard to be creative when you're that high up. So maybe now that he's writing DC movies and consulting and doing more of that, he's going to have more time to write again and give us like the Shazam book that he's going to be doing. Apparently he's also going to be doing the three Joker story, which was been teased at the end of the Dark Side War and DC Rebirth. We still haven't got that yet, so apparently he'll be doing that with Jason Fabok, I believe. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what's going to be the future of DC. I know he's also, I'm reading right here, he's also will be launching a new DC Comics imprint called The Killing Zone. Dubbed in the press release, a new pop-up slate of comic books, which is set to feature new and lesser-known DC characters and titles. Additionally, Johns will write a new Shazam comic book series, as I just said. Very, very excited. The first in a decade. Do you believe that? It's been a decade since we got a solo Shazam comic. That's insane. And he will continue to write his currently unfolding Doomsday Clock 12 issue series, illustrated by Gary Frank, and he will still also do what I was just talking about, the three Jokers. He will still also be doing the previously announced three Jokers story illustrated by Jason Fabok. So he's not leaving DC. He's just no longer the chief creative officer. Jim Lee is now taking that role. And so I'm excited. I mean, DC, as far as their comic book front, I know their movies haven't been the strongest lately. Hopefully, with Geoff Johns being strong, devoting more time to that area, that'll, help them strengthen the future of the DCEU. But I mean, who better than Jim Lee to take over for the chief creative officer? I've loved Jim Lee. I've been a fan since I was a kid, since the X-Men, his X-Men stuff, obviously his Image stuff with Wildstorm universe, and then he went to DC, drew did Batman Hush, and he became co-publisher, and now he's chief creative officer of DC Comics. So pretty big news for the comic book industry, but all good things. I don't think any of this is necessarily bad. Again, I'm very sad to see Geoff Johns go, but I do believe DC Comics will be left in capable hands with Jim Lee, and I'm sure they're going to be communicating with one another. I think it should be a fairly easy transition. So yeah, that's the biggest news I think for today. That's pretty crazy. I mean, it's Geoff Johns. Like, love him or hate him, the guy's a legend. Especially, he's gonna be one of those guys in the future. When I'm like 50, 60, you're gonna be talking about like those the Neil Adams, the not the I don't want to say Frank Miller's or put him on that level, but I mean he's kind of he's one of the he'll be one of the more prolific writers of this new modern age of comic books for sure. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's that. So let's move on after that huge news. I was kind of staying in the DC world a bit though. Got some little bits of news that I want to touch on. So staying in the DC movie world, I guess, since that's where Geoff Johns is devoting more of his time to. Let's talk about that. This past week, Jared Leto, it was announced Warner Brothers will be giving Jared Leto his own Joker movie. So Jared Leto Joker, if you liked him, this is fantastic news for you because he will be getting his own Joker movie. There's no really scheduled date to when this will be happening, but it's gonna be happening. So I know this is kind of a mixed bag. It's kind of weird for me because I'm one of the guys, I didn't absolutely hate Jared Leto's Joker, but I didn't really love it either. It kind of grew on me, but I would have wanted something a little, I don't want to say better, maybe different, something that I personally would have liked a little more. But again, I didn't hate it. I definitely understand for those people who didn't like it. It's kind of one of those things where you love it or hate it type thing. Even though I kind of fall like in the middle. I think I like it more than I don't, but it's not the best. Does that make sense? Let's hope that makes sense. It's definitely no Heath Ledger Joker. I will say that. It's no Heath Ledger Joker. It is no Mark Hamill Joker. It is not on that par. And with that character, we've been spoiled with the Joker character. I mean, we had Jack Nicholson play the Joker, amazing. Then we had Mark Hamill, Heath freaking Ledger, one of the best performances in all of cinema. It's not even just a Joker performance, just downright amazing performance. So I think the thing that's confusing with this is, though, it's kind of weird for me even as a comic book fan, is the fact that we're still apparently getting that Todd Phillips movie, the director of The Hangovers. He's still directing a Joker movie apparently with Joaquin Phoenix attached to play the Joker. So they're both going to happen. So we're going to get a Jared Leto Joker movie, and then we're going to get a Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. That's kind of weird for me, even being a comic fan. Like, that's confusing for me. And I'm used to all these crises and Elseworld stuff and all, having 4 versions of Batman and, Superman and Joker and all that stuff. I'm used to that, but it's still a little weird for me. And it's going to be really weird for the average moviegoer because, you're going to be like, wait, so is this Joker attached to the DCEU? Why is there 2 different guys playing him? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're going to understand that this is like, a comic book one shot in movie form, or like an Elseworld, comic book, but in movie form. I don't think people, the average moviegoer, are going to understand that. So that's a little off putting to me. So I don't know what DC's going on there. I know they said that they're going to be exploring like one-off type movies, basically, again, the comic book equivalent of one shots, but in movie form, which is a cool idea. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to be confusing. And plus, do you want 2 different versions of the Joker out there? Do you want like 2 different versions of Batman? Let's say when Matt Reeves finally casts his Batman for his movie, it's not Ben Affleck, but Ben Affleck is still going to be in the Flash movie because that's still in the DCEU. So it's just confusing. But then apparently Matt Reeves said that his Batman movie is in the DCEU, so then Ben Affleck is his Batman. I don't know. It's weird. The DC universe is just kind of crazy right now. I feel like they don't know what they're doing exactly. Like the Harley Quinn movie, apparently we're going to get Birds of Prey movie, then or before that we were going to get a Joker and Harley Quinn movie, and then a Birds of Prey movie, and now I think they're doing some third type of movie with Harley Quinn. It's just like I feel like they don't have a plan. They're just kind of like, oh, that is a better idea. Let's change and do that. Where Marvel Studios kind of has like, no, this is our 10-year plan. This is the beginning. This is the end. This is what we're doing. So I wish DC had that, because DC has some of the best characters in the world, if not the best. Some would argue the best superheroes and characters in the world of comics. Obviously, it's a matter of opinion, but I mean, the big 2 are Marvel and DC. So it's just these characters like Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Flash, Harley Quinn, Joker. Like, these characters are amazing, and if done right, it could be so good. Could you imagine the DCU being just as good as the Marvel Studios franchise? That'd be insane. That just like, yes, I want them all. I want everyone to succeed, because why would I, want a crappy Spider-Man movie but a good Batman movie, or a good Batman movie but a crappy Spider-Man movie? I want all of it to be good, just like I want all my favorite characters in comic books and their comic book titles to be good. So it's just it's kind of sad. But I kind of deviated a little bit, but yeah, Jared Leto getting his own movie, I will definitely watch it. I'm curious to see where that goes. It's a little confusing. I personally would rather see Joaquin Phoenix play the Joker. That guy is freaking crazy, and I think he would bring like that cool, like I feel like he would be like that Tom King Joker. I don't know if you guys read the jokes of Riddles and Laughs. I think it's called Jokes of Riddles and that. The recent the War of Jokes and Riddles and Laughs, or the War of Jokes and Riddles. War of Jokes and Riddles. That love that story. Anyway, I feel like he would be that kind of Joker, where he's kind of quiet, a little more reserved, more of like a mobster, but still freaking crazy. And when he doesn't laugh a lot, but when he laughs, it's more scary because it's like, it has like that Jaws effect, to where like you don't really see the shark laugh, but when you see it, it's freaking pissed. So like, it's I kind of like that version of the Joker too, where he's not always laughing and crazy. It's like he'll giggle here and there, but you don't really hear it much. But when he does laugh, it's like, holy crap. Like, that kind of eerie, like the hair stands up in the back of your head, because like, he doesn't do that often. Stuff's about to go down. You know what I mean? So I think Joaquin Phoenix would bring that to it, or at least if I was a director, that's how I would direct him, but I'm not. So yeah. Staying in the DC news, though, also this past week, actually, we posted it on our Variant Twitter account and our Variant Instagram. So if you don't follow us on that, be sure to follow us on our Variant Twitter and our Instagram. Links for that are in the description below. But anyway, on those our social media platforms, we posted a set photo from Titans, the upcoming live action series that will be debuting in August on DC's new streaming service. Yes, I know a lot of people in the comments of those posts were saying, oh, it's not going to be on CW, it's not going to be on AMC or Fox. No, it's going to be on DC's new streaming service. I know that's kind of comes to a bummer to a lot of you because it's like you're already paying for Hulu, you're already paying for Netflix, you're already paying for like HBO Now or Go or whatever the other streaming services you're paying for. This is going to be an additional one, but it's kind of like, if you got, I'm assuming you guys are just as big as comic fans as me, if not even some of you probably more. So there's no way you're not gonna spend the $10 a month to watch the live action Titan series, a live action Swamp Thing series, a live action Doom Patrol series, the Harley Quinn new animated series, and Young Justice freaking season 3. So they know that they're gonna get my money. So, but with that said, the live action Teen Titan series, a set photo, we saw the bat signal in the background of the set photo. So, in the bat signal actually looks more of the animated style of the bat signal, not the one with the yellow oval from the original Batman animated series. When they did the redesigns from the New Adventures of Batman, where he was in the black and gray costume, it actually looks just like that. So, with that said, it's got people speculating, is Batman gonna make a live action cameo in this Titan series? I mean, he could. I mean, but at the same time, it could just be, obviously it's gonna, Dick Grayson's in it. It's obviously gonna take place in Gotham, so maybe it's just there. Dick Grayson's meeting Commissioner Gordon on the rooftop, or they just see it in the sky, or they show it for XYZ reasons. So it's really 50-50. Seeing the bat signal on the set doesn't necessarily mean Batman's going to be in it, but it also means there's a good possibility, or at least a 50% chance that he could be in it. So if you guys remember back in the day, the Birds of Prey live action series that didn't last long and wasn't very good, that's why it didn't last long. We saw glimpses and pieces of a live action Batman in that, as well as Catwoman. So can that kind of be like that, where Batman's not going to be like a main character, but via flashbacks or every now and then, maybe he's like yelling at Dick Grayson for doing X, Y, and Z, or Dick Grayson's getting advice from him and we see him real quick. I'd be down for that. That'd be super awesome. So it's got fans speculating. I hope that happens. And yeah, let's hope we see some live action Batman on TV. I think it'll be the first time we see a live action Batman on TV since I guess the Birds of Prey thing, which that was super short. And then before that, the 66 Batman series. That's because everything else has been pretty much been cartoons and like video games, and then the movies. He's appeared numerous times in live action movies, but not too many times on the small screen in a live action TV show. But yeah, if you guys want to check out the photo for that, be sure to head over to our Variant Instagram. It's variant_official. Links for that in the description, or head over to our Twitter account. We posted it, I believe, yesterday or Saturday, so it shouldn't be too far behind. It's actually the most current post on our Instagram, so probably just go there, then click a follow, and you guys will be up to date with all things news and comics. All right, moving along. I know you guys would yell at me if I didn't talk about the two massive trailers that came out this week. We got the Bumblebee trailer, and we also got the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse trailer. Let's start with Bumblebee. I think it looks awesome. Bumblebee looks really, really cool. I kind of like how it's kind of has that little. It seems more like it's geared towards like a younger audience, like a kid. And I'm not saying that as like a put down or bad at all. Like that's awesome. I mean, it's Transformers. It is for kids. We only like it because we loved it as kids, and now we're adults and we don't want to let go of it. But I think that's really cool. I like Bumblebee's new design. I believe this is a prequel though. I believe this takes place. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but from what I know, I think it's a prequel. It takes place before all these Michael Bay Transformer movies. But it looks really cool. I like how it seems like this is going to be more of a story-driven movie. I know it's just like a under 2-minute teaser, but even from that, it seems like it's going to be a little more dramatic, more drama-driven. Not so much just, oh, look at these bright colors transforming, and you really can't make out what it is because it's going so fast and making so much noise, and it just looks like colorful metal hitting each other. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not bitter at all to the Transformers franchise. I will say I love the first one. The second and third entertained, and then once you got the fourth and fifth and the whole Mark Wahlberg, yeah, I don't care. So hopefully this one kind of rejuvenates the Transformers franchise a bit. Bumblebee is wasn't my favorite Transformer growing up. I'm like, I loved Optimus Prime, and I love Beast Wars actually more than Transformers. That's more of my stuff, because I was born in 87, so Transformers, the G1 stuff, is a little before my time, and I didn't really watch it much in syndication, but I love me some Beast Wars. Yeah, but I'm excited for that. It looks good. I love that Starscream's in it, and he actually looks like Starscream, not like this weird metal triangle Cheeto thing from the Michael Bay directed movies. I know Michael Bay is still producing these, but he's not directing, and you could definitely tell from the trailer. So have high hopes. It looks good to me. I'm gonna see it, and then I'll let you guys know what my thoughts are once I see it when it comes out. Another one that I'm really excited about, the next trailer that came out this week, which I'm really, really excited about, is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is an animated movie, right, with Miles Morales Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse, Peter Parker Spider-Man. In the trailer, you also see Spider-Gwen is in it. And I can imagine there's going to be more revealed. Hopefully, we got like Spider-Man 2099, Scarlet Spider, all my favorite different versions of Spider-Man and stuff like that. So it looks really cool. I love the animation style. It's very stylized. It's not like that DreamWorks stuff. It's not like that Pixar stuff. It's very very stylized, and it almost kind of has like it was kind of tripping me out a little bit, like especially certain parts. It kind of has like that. Like I feel like I'm supposed to be wearing 3D glasses where you see like that blue and red like kind of like glow or highlight to it, where it's like, well, am I supposed to be wearing 3D glasses? It's kind of like tripping my eyes out a bit. But it's coming out this Christmas, December, I believe. December 8th, I think. I don't know. December. It's coming out in December. But yeah, it looks really cool. I love the comedy looks awesome. I love the interaction between Miles Morales and his dad. In the movie, his dad is a police officer, so their whole banter is back and forth, and back and forth is really really funny. Makes some cool moments. So I'm excited to see that in the full movie. I think the action is going to be really cool, especially how stylized it is. And Peter Parker's in it as well. Of course, you have an older Peter Parker who's basically, it seems like he's kind of just going to be mentoring Miles Morales, which I think is awesome because that kind of happens in the comic books a lot. So I'm very excited for it. I'm just happy to see Miles Morales on the big screen. We're probably going to see him on eventually in Marvel Studios, the MCU. It's only a matter of time. Like, I feel like there's no way they're not going to introduce Miles Morales. Could you imagine having like Tom Holland Spider-Man, kind of like mentoring an even younger like Spider-Man? That would just be that makes for all the comedy and fun moments. I think that would be that would be amazing. But first, we're gonna get him in animation form, and I am very very excited for this. I love the Spider-Verse story. Obviously, this is loosely based on it, but because I just love different versions of Spider-Man. And I actually have my own like Spider-Verse display at home. I collect Marvel Legends. For those of you know, that's a Marvel toy line from Hasbro. It's like 6-inch, highly articulated action figures. Anyway, I have like a whole display with like Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man 2099, Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Just follow me on Instagram, and then I post pictures of that stuff in my man cave all the time. So if you guys are like, Arris, let me see your man cave, follow me on Instagram or my Twitter, because I post that stuff all the time. Anyway, I'm deviating. I digress. I digress. Let's talk about the next big news that's actually in the title, and I haven't talked about it yet because I'm getting so excited about all this other stuff. Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger released the 2-hour series premiere this past week, and I watched it. Yes, I did, gang. I watched it, as I'm sure many of you did, and you guys are probably like, "Well, Arris, what did you think?" I didn't really like it. I didn't I didn't like it that much. um it's okay. Uh yeah, okay. So all right. So I'm trying to gather my thoughts because you guys know me. I don't want to tear it to shreds. I didn't hate it that much like that anyway, I guess. It was very different than what I wanted it to be. So let's just say, first of all, they completely changed the origin from the comic, which I know you're like, Arris, they do that a lot of times in the movies and TV shows. I know, I know they do. But I didn't like what they did with this, where they had that big rig of okay, before I go any deeper, spoilers galore. If you haven't seen it and you don't want me to spoil it for you, I'm going to spoil the crap out of the show. So that is your spoiler warning in 1, 2, 3, Spoiler Town, USA. Okay, so they get their powers in the show by like this big rig exploding that I guess Tandy's dad is help working on, and he's like, he's driving home in the rain, and he's yelling on the phone. He's like, "Don't! The rig's gonna blow. Fix it. Do this. Blah blah blah. It's gonna blow." They don't listen. It blows. He's not looking. He crashes into the lake. She falls into the water, and at the same time, Tyrone, his brother, is gets shot by a cop. falls into the river or the lake or the ocean, whatever you want to call it as well, is like, no, dives in to go after his brother, to hopefully try to save him or just, try to get him out, right? So at this time, like a big pulse goes off in the water, and we don't know what it is yet. With a 2-hour season premiere, it's not explained yet. That's one of my gripes too. It's 2-hour season premiere. We still know nothing. Nothing. And I know their comic book origin. I read lots of comics. I still know nothing. So so they get their powers somehow, right? Because the pulse goes off and you see it hit them, like, ah! And superheroes get the powers because of explosions and experiments. I guess that's the norm. I just like the comic book version better. I thought that could have been more compelling, but that's just my personal preference. And I'm not trying to hate on the show. If you like the show, that's fine. I'm not trying to be like, you shouldn't like the show. I'm glad you like the show. I'm just giving you my personal thoughts on it. So I don't want to like try to bring it down for you guys. Like, I loved it. That's great. I wished I loved it, but I didn't. I'm sorry. So yeah, they get their powers that way, and somehow I guess they touch hands, and then pulse, boom, flash forward. I think like multiple years in the future, 8 years in the future, and then that we don't really get much from that. I mean, like, there's no really superhero antics in a superhero show. Now, I'm not the guy who I'm like, I need action, I need fighting, I need superpowers, I need blast, I need flying every single second. No, I appreciate a good story. At the root of it, you need a fantastic story in order to make all those cool action moments cool. But there was nothing really compelling here. You see that Tandy, like, they kind of flipped it from the comics. So first of all, in the comics, Tandy is this rich elite girl with her mom is like a super like popular millionaire playgirl, like supermodel who doesn't care about her at all. So she leaves to New York to like be like, well, peace out. You don't love me, and my dad ran out on me. I'm going to New York. Link if you guys want to know about the comic book origin, links in the description below for that. We just did a history of Cloak and Dagger. I get into all the details in that, but I'm just giving you the cliff notes here to tell you how they changed it. And then in the comics as well, Tyrone is the one who he comes from, like, doesn't have the best life. He's not really rich, comes from like a bad area in town. And then his friend gets shot, and then he goes to New York, right? So, but they flipped it to where Tyrone is the rich guy. He goes to private school. His parents, he's got a nice house, nice bedrooms. Parents do really well. Tandy, not so much. Her mom's like a drug addict. She's like, hooking up with like a lawyer who's doing drugs with her, and she steals like her money and stuff like that. She's basically like doesn't come from the best environment, which is fine. I don't care if they flipped it, whatever. It doesn't really matter who's the rich one, who's the poor one. That doesn't really matter. But it's like nothing happens really as far as Cloak and Dagger. Like, it's a 2-hour season premiere, and I feel like, for the lack of a better word, I feel like it's just like too freeformy. I guess it's too like drama-y, where it felt more like soap opera-y to me, where there was like nothing heroic happen. Like, they had like, you see like Tyrone like doing flashbacks and stuff like that all the time. Like, he keeps teleporting to different times, and they don't explain how at all. I understand that they're still like figuring out their powers. Like, she's like, her light dagger comes out a few times. She's trying to get it out in like the first episode. Or the second episode and the first episode, and it's not working. I get they're still trying to figure it out, but I feel like it could have been paced so much better. Like there's just so much stuff that I'm like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need this backstory. Like, get to, like, you know what I mean, to the good stuff, because I feel like the show, based on the first 2 episodes, now it could get better. I don't know. But based on the first 2 episodes, I feel like the show is not going to be super heroic at all. When, in the comic books, they're freaking, fighting drug dealers, killing drug dealers, healing, junkies, stopping gangs from dealing drugs. Like, their whole thing is the criminal, like stopping like the drug cartel and all that stuff, and people who sell drugs to, the innocent and helpless. And I got none of that in a 2-hour season premiere. I just got like Tandy's stealing money because she comes from a hard life, and Tyrone is just dealing with the death of his brother and doesn't want to play basketball, and his dad's mad at him because he doesn't want to play basketball. It was very, for a lack of a better term, it was very much like, just like I'm not trying to like diminish any of it, but it's fictional, so it doesn't even matter. It's just like very first world problems, and for a fictional show, like, I feel like there could have been so much more drama. Like, if you want to push drama, like, what better drama would there be to like have these 2 kids kidnapped? They're lured, they're getting injected with drugs by this psychopath, and now they have superpowers, and they have to learn to work together to use their powers to help each other and then fight crime. Like, that's way more compelling than like, I come from not a lot of money and I'm trying to steal money and make something of myself. Cool, I guess, but not as cool as it could have been. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah, it's just it just wasn't for me. It wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Again, if you liked it, I'm not trying to talk crap, like make this any less for you. That's fine. I wished I liked it. There's lots of stuff I like that other people don't like. It's just my personal opinion. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch the third episode. I may give it another go, maybe one more, because three is a charm. Because if you guys know me with any TV show, I usually try to give it 2 to 3. So I'm at my 2 point because it was 2 hour season premiere, so that it was 2 episodes. But I might give it a third. I might. We'll see. If I give it a third, I'll come back next week and I'll say, hey guys, it's the same, or I still don't like it. But moving on, now that I've ranted on that a bit, and you guys know my opinion on that. The last bit of news before I do a Q&A briefly is I want to talk about Kathleen Kennedy. That happened last week. Apparently, she might be stepping down from Lucasfilm come September or end of the year. So that is massive news that she might be leaving. Now I know it's kind of crazy because it's like, is she? Because there's a lot going on with the Star Wars universe right now. As you know, after the Last Jedi, there's been lots of I guess you could say it started with the Force Awakens, but the Force Awakens wasn't nearly as polarizing as the Last Jedi. I know many people had problems. I know many people had problems with the Force Awakens, but it was not like the Last Jedi. So once the Last Jedi hit, it seemed like OG Star Wars fans and true Star Wars fans were like, yeah, no, bro, you messed up with our legacy characters, and we're not having it. So to kind of like be like, okay, you're not going to give us what you want. When Solo, well, first of all, there's a lot of problems with Solo. So just in the media, like Kathleen Kennedy apparently didn't like what the original directors were doing, so they got fired, and then Ron Howard got brought on. But there was just so much going on in bad media and press around it that this movie had a lot of weight to it. So Ron Howard tried to do the best he could do to fix this movie. And again, if you saw my review, I didn't hate the movie, but I also didn't love the movie. I thought for a director coming in with a movie that was pretty much already shot and he had to basically reshoot like 80% of the movie, he did a really great job. I mean, he's playing cleanup at that point. It wasn't entirely his movie. He's literally just trying to fix what happened and redo like 80-90% of the movie. That's not an easy task by any means. So I don't blame him or anything at all. I mean, again, I didn't hate the movie. I just also didn't love the movie. I thought it was very bland. That was me personally. I didn't think there was anything special. But the problem is, this is the Star Wars franchise. Like, Disney spent lots and lots of money on this franchise. So like, you can't release a Star Wars movie and it just do like 250 million. Now, given if like freaking It or any other like movie that had like a $50 million budget, made $250 million, that's like, oh my god, yes, we're gonna make 3 of these. But when you're talking about Star Wars, which is one of if not the biggest movie franchise in the world, and the budget's like $200+ million, you, without marketing, that's just production budget, you can't come out of it making, let's say, $300 million and call that a success, because it's not. It's with all the pushing the toys and all that, the apparel and all that stuff, they're probably well over $500,000. So let's say it makes $400 million. They're still going to lose a lot of money. And for a Star Wars movie, that's insane. Star Wars movies is kind of like Marvel movies and DC movies, these massive, huge properties that we've been following for years and years. These movies, the studios buy them and make them because it's like a guaranteed, or supposed to be a guaranteed, oh, this is going to make us like $500 million or more, or this is going to be $1 billion movie. So when a movie only does like a quarter or half of that, someone's gonna get fired. Now, I'm not saying she's getting fired. We really don't know. She may have, saw signs from internally like, oh, that might happen. It's all speculation. Or she, or she just might not, she might be tired of it, or, she might be fed up with the fans, or she just might not. It could be anything. You really can't tell. It's all speculation. So in a nutshell, all you got to know is she might be stepping down, which a lot of Star Wars fans are super, super happy about, because they weren't excited with. A lot of people didn't like Force Awakens, they didn't like Last Jedi, they didn't like people liked Rogue One. I feel like that one's more of like, yeah, I liked Rogue One. I liked Rogue One a lot, actually. Yeah, everyone, that's kind of, see, that one and Force Awakens are kind of seen as like the two better ones. I feel like Rogue One is seen more as the better one as a whole, even though, again, I'm still going to stick to it. I didn't hate The Force Awakens. I actually did enjoy The Force Awakens. I didn't mind that it was basically like a rehash of A New Hope, is what a lot of people were saying. I liked that it was kind of like a love letter of sorts. Last Jedi, initially, I did enjoy it, but after a few more rewatches, it did not. I think I just wanted to like it so much, so I can kind of see, all the hate there. But I'm not the guy to, like, if I hate a movie, I'm not gonna freaking like bash the actors and stuff on Twitter. That's not right. I mean, it's not their fault. They're hired to do a job. That's just kind of ridiculous. Yeah, you can not like something, but like attacking the writers and stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, these are fictional characters. It's like, come on, people. You're not gonna freaking drive someone off Twitter just because they did wrong to this make believe character. I love these characters more than anything. I made a living out of it, but I'm not gonna freaking harass someone because they did wrong to Deadpool or something. That's ridiculous. So I don't think, no matter how bad a movie is, you should be doing that to someone. But at the same time, I mean, we do like these characters a lot, and I think money talks. So I think that's, if you want to do anything, if you don't like something, whether it's a comic book, it's a movie, it's a TV show, don't harass people, don't be malicious, just don't buy it. And that has way more weight to these companies that are making and producing the shows and comics and toys you love than anything you could say mean to them. They don't care what you say to them. They care about this because it's a business at the end of the day. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It'll probably make, yeah, for sure. The media will, yeah, for sure. So, but with that said, I think Solo is a very good example of that in the sense, as far as, money talks, because it's not, people are so annoyed with The Last Jedi that they're not going to see Solo, which kind of is a little unfortunate because the movie's not bad. Like, I mean, I get it. It's not freaking The Empire Strikes Back or The Godfather, but it's not bad. I mean, you know what I mean? Again, I didn't love it, but I mean, I don't love every movie that I like, I, I could like it. I don't have to love it. So, yeah, but with that said, with The Last Jedi, getting all the hate, and then this movie not making nearly as, I believe last week I saw, I don't know what it is now, but last week it was estimated that Disney might lose $50 million. For Disney to lose money on a Star Wars property, that's just kind of insane. No, it is insane. So with her stepping down, the question arises: who's gonna come up? Who's gonna come up and take over? I know Tim over here. He's speculating Kevin Feige from Marvel Studios, because I guess it's been hinted in the media lately that he might be leaving after Avengers 4. Like, he had a plan, from the first Iron Man to Avengers 4. That was his plan. He's been with the company for by Avengers 4 over 10 years. So I mean, you couldn't blame him to leave to want to do better things, or not better things, but different things. You don't want to be doing the same thing for, I mean, some people might, but he might not want to just, do Marvel movies to the day he dies. He might want to be like, oh, now let's see, do something else. Maybe go to a different studio or something. So what if he moves to be the new head of Lucasfilm? That would be insane. I wouldn't want that, just because I selfishly want him to stay with Marvel till he dies, because he's amazing and he's been doing the Lord's work over there with Marvel. But I mean, he probably would make the crap out of Star Wars movies as well. So yeah, just let us know in the comment section down below. Where do you, are you happy that she might be stepping down? Are you sad? Do you not care? I don't know. I'm gonna open it up to Q&A right now, so let me know in the chat section. What you, oh yes, Jump Force. I think a few people said it in there too. Jump Force. So E3 is this weekend. Lots and lots of video game news is coming out, but I've told you guys several times, I am not the biggest video game nerd. I literally only play, like, for the lack of better terms, like the nerdy stuff. But I guess all video game stuff is nerdy. The comic book and anime type stuff is what I'm into. So I'm into, like, the Injustices, the Marvel vs. Capcom, the Arkham games. I have a soft spot for the Mortal Kombat games. I love fighting games. And now this new one, it's being called Jump Force. So for those of you who don't know, Shonen Jump is a very popular magazine over in Japan, which is where all of our favorite animes pretty much originated from. So like Dragon Ball Z, One Punch Man, Naturo or Naturo, or however you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering it, and I'm sorry. Don't yell at me. And just, a bunch of them. One Punch Man, all that stuff, right? So basically, My Hero Academia. Someone said, "Don't forget My Hero Academia." I actually didn't watch this last week's episode. I'm sorry. Shame on me. Bad Arris. Yeah, because of the 2-hour season premiere, I didn't get a chance to watch it. So I'm gonna have to double down for next week. I'm sorry. But My Hero Academia might be in Jump Force. Anyway, Jump Force is basically a fighting video game that's going to take pretty much all of our favorite anime characters and putting them into a game together. So you're gonna have Goku, you're gonna have Nataro, you're gonna have Frieza, you're gonna have all these different anime characters in a game. It's been alluded. The creator of the game said it's pretty much, he hasn't confirmed, but he's like, he kind of gave like to like My Hero Academia. So we might get Deku in there, we might get All Might in there. Saitama, One Punch Man. We might get all. Can you imagine playing One Punch Man in a video game? I mean, would it even be fair at that point though? Because like, what's his move? One punch. Uh-huh. But no, that would just be really, really, really cool. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, Tim, can we put the link in the description for Jump Force?
Yeah, the trailer's
okay, it's already in there. So the
see it, hit refresh.
okay, if you don't see the link for the trailer for Jump Force in description, just hit refresh right now. I guess you could do that, or after you're done watching if you don't want to like lose your spot. But yeah, links for that in the description. It's really, really cool. You see like Goku walk into frame, he goes Super Saiyan, he's fighting Frieza. Nataro's in there. I'm butchering that name, but I actually don't watch that anime. I like the character. I like how he could like, multiple forms. He does it in the trailer too. He has like makes multiples of himself, like multiple man. Really, really cool. Yeah. But yeah, that's the one I'm most excited for E3. Although I was hoping that Rocksteady was going to announce the new Superman game. They didn't, to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure that they didn't, because that probably would have been all over my Twitter feed and all over the internet today. But they were speculated to announce a Superman game that is basically like the Arkham games, like Batman Arkham games, but for Superman. And it was apparently going to live in that universe, and that Batman was going to cross over into that. But they didn't announce that, so yeah. Oh yes. Anyway, Q&A. Let's open that up real quick before we wrap this week a Variant Live up. Jamal Jones, damn you. I'm assuming that's for My Hero Academia thing. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Because I was actually current too. I was like, this was going to be the first week where we watched this week's episode. And then, it'd be, this Saturday's episode, and it would have been fresh in our minds. And I messed it up because Cloak and Dagger had a 2-hour season premiere. And I have a wife and kids. And my dad's in the hospital. So all that, yeah, I didn't have time with all that mixed. Sorry, guys. All right. Ramen Cubby, One Punch Man isn't Jump. That's right. You're actually correct on that. He was actually like an original series. I remember that from two of my History of One Punch Man episode. But there's so many fictional characters in my head, I get things confused sometimes. But yes, you are right. So what I was trying to say though is all the anime characters we like, they're probably going to be in the game. Hopefully, or at least maybe a DLC later on. I mean, we would have to buy it, but it's better than not having it at all. Let's see. When does Attack on Titan come out? Attack on Titan is already out. Oh, you mean the newest season? I'm not sure when the newest season comes out, but the first few seasons are on Verve. I believe the link for that is in the description below. If you sign up there, get a free 30-day ad-free trial, and you can watch all the Attack on Titan and Dragon Ball Super and My Hero Academia and all that stuff ad-free for 30 days if you click the link in the description below, because Verve has teamed up with us to help you guys out to get 30 days of free content. Let's see. Philly Man, instead of a Rocksteady Superman game, they should have given us a Green Arrow game, or he could at least be a DLC. Green Arrow game would be cool, but I'm going to be honest, I would still rather a Superman game. Just because imagine like a open world Superman game where you could fly and punch and do all kinds of amazing stuff. Oh man, that would be, I feel like that's one of those games where you're not even really playing the missions and playing the actual game. You just want to fly around, destroy stuff. That could be really, really cool. All right, let's see. Ratata gets it all, I believe is what your name is. Are you ever going to do a Captain Atom history of episode? Yes, I will get to all those characters eventually in due time. Basically how it kind of works now, for those of you, if you want to get like in our brains more. Basically, we kind of, more so than not, we base history of episodes on current events in media. So like, if this character is getting a movie, or this character is getting a new TV show or cartoon or animated movie or video game, that's probably when we're gonna do a history episode of that particular character. It's not like that all the time. Sometimes I'll just be like, I want to do it on this character because I just want to do it, and we have like an open month where there's no really new shows or things coming out. But most of the time we try to put it around movies and cartoons and stuff that's coming out, because that's when you guys, the majority of you, are going to be interested. Because obviously if they're like, hey, in December there's going to be a Captain Atom live action TV show, clearly that makes more sense to do a history of episode around that time. So yes, I will get to it. All those cool characters, Justice League, Marvel, Avengers, in due time. But yeah, I know a lot of people are asking for like Hellboy. Like, I know they've already filmed his new movie. We're holding off on that for when his movie is released, which I believe is next year, next summer. So next year is when we'll do a history of Hellboy, because then if we did it now, you guys will be asking us a year from now, hey, can you do a history of Hellboy, when we already did it a year ago? So it makes more sense. That's how we kind of do it. History of Doom Patrol. Again, once the Swamp Things, once the DC, it's actually going to be pretty crazy. Once the DC app launches and they give us, the Titan series, they give us Swamp Thing, they give us Doom Patrol, all the Young Justice stuff. There's going to be so many characters you guys are going to want history of episodes on, that we're going to brainstorm and try to narrow it down to, because it literally will be over like 20. So we'll try to get like the most popular ones. I know we already have on the docket like an Origin of Beast Boy, which is basically like a short version of a history of episode. We're going to do stuff on a lot of the more history of Teen Titans is definitely going to be, you guys have been wanting that forever. We'll be doing history of Teen Titans in August. I can give you a date now because it's going to launch in August. So that's where we're going to be doing it. So we're going to do it probably the week before, week of, sometime in August, the history of Teen Titans. Doom Patrol will probably do around the same time, because I don't know if that's going to launch in August. I don't know if they've been kind of vague with it. I don't know if all the shows are going to launch at the same time or it's going to be like systematically. So, but when all that stuff comes out, again, you could, pretty much bet that's when you'll get a history of episode of it. Ultra Savage Game. What about the Venom movie? We already did a history of Venom, but we'll probably do some symbiote type stuff, or maybe a Venom storyline, something based around Venom, or a versus episode. We'll do something Venom themed, obviously, for Venom, because why not? And plus, Venom's one of my favorite villains or anti-heroes, rather, in all of comics. Is it coming out in August? Yes, August is apparently, well, not apparently, is when they said the app is launching. So one would assume you can't launch an app with nothing on it. So several of the shows will be available at that point. Let's see. Michael Brent. What about Kingdom Hearts 3? I played that game when I was little, but I'm gonna be honest. Again, I'm so wrapped up in, like, I watch like all the comic book movies, all the TV shows. I read comics all the time, and then out of that, I have my personal life. So that doesn't leave, especially with wife and kid, that doesn't leave much more time for anything else. So again, I don't play video games that much, so I haven't played those games in a very, very long time. All right, let's see what else. Sergio Cruz, what do you think of the Venom movie? I've said it before, so I'll say it briefly. I think it looks really cool. I love Tom Hardy, so I'm down to see him in anything. And I kind of like how he's playing the two sides of, like, he's conflicted and he's like, why would we do that? Like, has a New York accent, but like, talking as the symbiote. So I think if he plays that up a lot, that could be really cool and actually creepy. So I just wish, though, I said before, that this Venom, or a Venom, was in the MCU. I would rather see Tom Holland Spider-Man face off on some Venom. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more questions and then I'm gonna get out of here because I'm hungry. To be honest, I want some food. I haven't eaten in hours. All right, let's see. Tra Page, who would win, the Bat Family or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I'm gonna say the Bat Family. Bat Family. Batman and all his family has contingencies for everything, so I'm pretty sure he has a contingency for humanoid, life-size, human-sized turtles. Although I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love. You can see them in the background. See, love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I think Bat Family would take that as far as, if you're asking who's gonna win, the Bat Family. But that doesn't mean I don't like those turtles in a half shell. All right, one more question. I'm going to get out of here. Do a history of TMT. Already did that. Search it for our page. Boom. You could watch it right after this. But that wasn't a question. I was just reading a statement. Bump. They already fought in a cross. Yeah, they've had 2 crossovers. Yes, they have. Let's see. Aquaman trailer. Again, not a question. But yeah, I don't know. That movie's coming out pretty soon, and we still haven't gotten a teaser for it. That's just crazy to me. Pretty crazy. Double S Comics reader, what do you think of Jim Lee as the chief creative officer of DC? Arris. If you go back to the first 10 minutes of this episode, you will see I go on like a 10 to 15-minute rant. That's how I opened up the episode, and I elaborate on all that. So I don't want to elaborate on that again, as most of the people in here already heard my rant about that. All right, I'm looking for one more question. Let's see which one catches my eye here. Laugh and say booty. Ha ha ha. I'm not gonna do it. I laughed though. I kind of did. Yeah, sort of, but I didn't say it after I read it. I read it. I didn't say it. So to see Geoff Johns go. Bring. Ethan Singer, what do you think of the Venom CGI? I think it looks really cool. It looks way better than what we got for Spider-Man 3. That was pretty horrible. I just think Topher Grace. I have nothing against Topher Grace. I love that 70s show. But him as Venom, no bueno. Just didn't, just wasn't the type to play. Like I couldn't play Venom. I don't have like the personality or like body type or whatever to play Venom. So I think he was just not a good fit for Venom. Where Tom Hardy, he's like, that scruffy, like kind of like got that. You just look like if he got mad, it wouldn't be good for you, and that's what you need for Eddie Brock's. Freaking Tom Hardy is very intimidating, but he also is an extremely good actor. So I think he's again, Tom Hardy is just one of my favorite actors. So I feel like you could be like, he's playing this. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. So I may be a little biased, but I think he's a good fit, and I also think, going back to your question, the CGI looks really, really cool. I'm curious to see him in they showed him briefly at the end of this newest trailer where he goes full Venom and he even talks, but I want to see him like running around and fighting and kicking and web slinging on walls and stuff like that. But so far, so good. But with that said, guys, I'm going to wrap things up. Again, I'm sorry for not watching My Hero Academia this week. I'm going to double down and watch the next 2 episodes this week, and then we can go week to week. So if you want to watch along with me, link for that is in the description. If you sign up with the link we have in the description with Verve, VRV, you'll get a free 30-day ad-free trial to watch all the anime you want for 30 days for freezies. But I'll see you guys this coming week when we do, what are we doing this week, Tim? What's this week's episode? Oh, the alternate versions of Batgirl. So that's going to be this Wednesday, alternate versions of Batgirl. It's been a while since we've done our alternate versions, and what better to do it on Batgirl? She's got a bunch of alternate versions, and as you guys know, I love the Bat family. So that's this Wednesday's episode. But until then,
This Wednesday is top 10 animated.
it's not though, because I already started writing the alternate versions of Batgirl. So it's the alternate versions of Batgirl. So that means the following week will be the top 10 animated superhero movies. Redux, because we did it 1 year ago. But with that said, guys, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.